Hi, everybody. Welcome. Glad you could be here with us today. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Great. I love doing these live webinars. This is a lot of fun.
I agree. They are a lot of fun. We'll give everybody a minute to get into the webinar room here and settled in. Looking forward to the conversation. You'll see you're going to meet our friend Pia here today as well. Pia, the Pitcher's Intelligence Agent, is joining us in today's conversation.
And augmenting us humans
That's right.
the
That's
way
right.
she should be.
Absolutely. Making us more efficient humans. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining today. As we are about to get started, I will just note that you can throw comments into the chat at any point throughout the conversation today. We'd love to know where you're joining us from and any questions or feedback you have. But also there is the questions tab as well on the lower right side of your screen. Please feel free to send questions, and we will for sure leave time at the end of today's conversation for some questions. But at any point along the way, we'll stop and make this a very collaborative conversation. So looking forward to talking today about how using AI-powered sales enablement really does save time and drive revenue. So I'm Bridget Lang. I'm the VP of Marketing here at Pitcher, and I'm joined today by our CEO, Kevin Chu. Kevin, thank you for joining me again for another conversation on Sales Enablement 2.0.
Thanks for having me, Bridget. It's great to be here.
And as I mentioned, you're going to see Pia, Pitcher's Intelligence Agent, as well in one of the video demos we're going to show along the way. So thanks again for being here. So let's get started. As we look at the current sales landscape, research shows, and some of this research is out of HubSpot, that about 50% of salespeople are using any form of AI whatsoever. We're sort of at an inflection point in the usage and adoption of AI-driven tools. And we're certainly seeing that on the sales enablement side. We're no exception, especially as we transition from sales enablement 1.0 to 2.0. So Kevin, you love to talk about sales enablement 1.0 and what that means. Tell our attendees here today just what is the old version of sales enablement or sales enablement 1.0.
Sure. So Sales Enablement 1.0, as the market has defined it, probably about 10, 15 years ago, most of the companies came out of either content or coaching or both. So a lot of the vendors, a lot of the customers that were adopting sales enablement technology were looking for better content management. In other words, what content should be showing as a seller? What content is going to resonate with my buyers? What content is going to be drive engagement and feedback into the analytic loop that then marketing can now say, okay, now I'm generating the right content to foster engagement and move opportunities. The second piece was coaching. Coaching was all about how am I articulating the message? Is my pitch on target? Am I talking too fast? Am I using the right words? Do I have the right objection handling in my cadences? And so content and coaching combined together to equal sales 1.0. But that was about 10 or 15 years ago, and the industry has leapfrogged with the introduction of things like AI, and we'll talk about that more today.
Awesome. I love this. So walk us through this perspective.
This is something that in researching for this webinar, and I looked over my lineage with content management, my lineage with artificial intelligence, natural language processing, machine learning, and I came across DoD Military Doctrine 3000.09, and this is something that the DoD, who's very often on the cutting edge to where technology meets humans, meets actions, meets processes and guidances. So the doctrine of DoD Military 3000.09 is that there's always a human in the middle. And what that means from a weapons perspective and prosecuting military campaigns is that there is always a human in that chain. In other words, you don't have autonomous weapons. You don't have agentic AI taking action on its own behalf. And what that means is that the machine is there to assist humans in making the proper decisions. And it's something that I took to heart when 20 years ago when the DoD came up with this doctrine, and this is to me is at the core of our beliefs and here at Pitcher, and the way I think that most people, when they get worried about AI, they should understand that AI is there to assist humans. AI is there to make humans better. When a lot of, with the rise of Chat GPT and OpenAI, we've seen a lot of drama over, is that going to eliminate lawyers? Is that going to eliminate writers? Absolutely not. It's going to create better lawsuits. It's going to create and help. It's going to, Chat GPT is going to help lawyers elevate to arguing better cases. It's going to elevate writers to writing better prose. It's going to, I use it personally in my day-to-day interactions. I use Chat GPT when I'm trying to write a long piece or a letter or a white paper. I won't use it for in total to generate the white paper. I'll use it to seed or spark my conversations, and then therefore my own human creativity takes over. Very much like DoD military doctrine 3000.09, the human is always in the middle.
Love it. So now we're really bridging over to Sales Enablement 2.0. And some of our attendees today have heard of this before. Some, this is brand new, but this is really Pitcher's mission critical mantra. Walk us through what that is.
Sure. So the big differences and the deltas that we're seeing right now in 2025 versus 2005, when sales enablement was first as a glimmer in people's eyes in content and coaching. In 2025, fast forward 20 years later, and now Sales Enablement 2.0 is coming to light, and that's what we're really here to talk about, and how it folds into artificial intelligence. First and foremost, it is still it has a hard rudder towards content and coaching. But we're going to see that now it moves into being much more operational, and content and coaching is great for sales and sales leaders when they want their sales team to be tooled up on a new product or onboarding or ramping, but it can be very it can come and go. It's something that you're not necessarily using in your everyday activities of selling. In other words, when I'm hired into an organization or a new product comes out, that's when content and coaching kicks in. But if content and coaching isn't there when I'm actually executing tactically in the field, it's okay. It's not a big deal. If I can't get the access to the latest deck from the server, I'm going to wing it with the deck I've got. If I can't get the coach, if I've done my coaching last week or during my onboarding 6 months ago, I'm probably not going to be taking a class going into my meeting. I'm going to be tactically executing. And so the difference, one of the primary differences of Sales Enablement 2.0 is that it has facets that actually are infused into the day-to-day activities of sellers, not just content and coaching. It's actually operational in nature. And what I mean by that is that if you look at our statistics, for instance, within Pitcher, our utilization hovers on a daily basis, hovers around 90%, which is in the previous Sales Enablement 1.0. That's about 5 times more than in previous Sales Enablement 1.0. Our 90% is about 5 times more than what was realized in the past. And why? Because we're actually driving more value in the day-to-day activities. Yeah. Fully immersed AI. So AI is something that when AI is doing its best, it's transparent. And when I think about AI, I live in Silicon Valley. When I'm driving up and down the 101, I see that the metering lights and the toll chargers for the HOV lane are fluctuating dynamically. Well, how is that done? That's done with all the sensors coming off my cell phone. It knows exactly how many cars are on the 101 at any given time, and how many cars are driving this destination and probably take this off ramp. Pretty accurate data. Is that something that I'm thinking about consciously as I'm driving? No, but I'm taking advantage of it and I'm using it to my best. I'm using that data input on that large data model and using it to translate out to my daily activities. When a spell check is a great example. Spell check has been around for about 30 years. Spell check is an example of a true AI large language model that we now take for granted. We take Siri, we take spell check for granted in our day-to-day lives. Is it intrusive? No. And the reason why it's beneficial to us is because it's transparent. It's fully embedded into our day-to-day discussion. Yeah. The unifying complex data sets. This is a great example of when I talked about the driving down the 101 example. That's just one example of a large data model that gets infused, distilled, aggregated down into my day-to-day activities and is driving behavior. And lastly, operational integration. The operational integration side is what I touched on before. It's not. It's this is an applicate true AI and a true selling motion in true sales enablement 2.0 is infused into my everyday day-to-day activity. It's helping me make better decisions. It's helping me drive better outcomes on a daily basis, and that's why the daily average users is approaches 90%.
Yeah. So if you now drill that down one layer deeper, and this, we're going to take a look at some of these today. How are we seeing AI make a difference in sales enablement?
Sure. So I stole a little bit of the thunder on the transparent piece. So
Yes.
transparency is key because it's got to be the machine behind the person, and then that's so important. Giving time back. This is something that um, sellers ultimately want to be engaged with customers. That's really where the value they're driving. That when I'm in front of the customer, when I'm in front of my prospect, and I'm doing my pitch, and I'm managing the room, that's really where the most human value is applied. It's not in preparing for a meeting. It's not in preparing a deck, and it's not in following up post meeting. So say I've got 5 calls to make that week or that day, and I'm calling on 5 different customers. And at the end of my day, I look back and I said, "Gee, what did customer number 2 want? I can't remember the next best action or the follow up for the customer number 2. What were the orders they wanted me to take?" If the machine is smart enough to understand where how my day progressed, how my opportunities panned out for that day, and says, "Oh, number 2, which was 5 hours ago, number 2 wanted these actions to follow up, and here's the follow up note. Here's the content for the next best follow up. Here's the orders they ordered." That is giving time back to the seller. And driving data informed discussions. A lot of selling even today in 50 years post the madman era is still relationship based selling,
Mhm.
and it doesn't need to be. And I think the new generation appreciates data. New generation is the Spotify generation. They're the ones that say that, okay, I see that 40 million people enjoyed this latest Beyonce song. I'll probably enjoy it too because it's being served up to me. A data informed discussion going into a meeting, say with a store manager, and you're trying to convince them to deploy an end cap, which we'll see in a second in one of our examples. The data informed discussion is that overlay of analytics and saying that the store managers, Mr. Store Manager, the store managers that deployed this end cap in a 50-mile radius, they saw this amount of revenue uptake. That's unequivocal data informed discussion. That cannot be, it's irrefutable. And lastly, letting sellers focus on what really matters. These are human to human interactions, and that's really the human being augmented by the machine.
So we hosted a webinar with Mondelez a few weeks ago where they talked through some of what they're seeing as the impact within their organization. Do you want to just walk through some of these findings?
Sure, that was amazing. So one of their key picture customers in CPG is Mondelez. And Mondelez, for those of you not familiar with the brand, they own every brand you're seeing in front of your screen. So go to your pantry, open up your pantry, and you're probably going to see some Triscuits, some Ritz crackers, some Oreos, some Cliff bars. That's all Mondelez. And so Mondelez is a multinational, multi-brand organization. Their dilemma is that they've got drivers, route managers, um, store detailers that are interacting with store managers, say at a Target or a Walmart supercenter. They've got about 30 seconds to convince that manager that to deploy this end cap, this branded, say I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm deploying a NASCAR themed end cap for Oreo cookies for the race this weekend, or I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin for the football game this weekend. This is something that they've got about 30 seconds to convince the store manager on a data-driven discussion, not a relationship-driven discussion, because I just picked up this route last week. I don't really know this person, but if I can show them this manager who's of a younger generation, and they're used to seeing data-informed discussion, they're used to having data-informed discussions, they're used to seeing data underlying the relationships that the 5 stores within my 50-mile radius, when they deployed this end cap, they saw this much uptick in Ritz crackers. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to use AR and VR to show how it fits into the end of the beer aisle or end of the potato chip aisle. That is a data informed discussion. Mondelez has seen, and if you get a chance to watch the webinar for Mondelez, I highly encourage you, because Michaela Sims and Remy, they said things that blew my mind, blew my socks off, as far as the adoption, the uptick, the revenue, the revenue drivers they were seeing. This is historically, fast moving consumer goods, which is the category they live in. It's historically, literally, sell sheets are in 3-ring binders, and orders are taken on yellow pads. And now Mondelez and Mondelez reps are leapfrogging the competition, and they're selling more stores with more end caps, with more revenue, with Pitcher.
And when we look at these adoption figures, I mean, this is not reflective of Sales Enablement 1.0, which was, typically in the 20 to 30% adoption range.
If that. So in Sales Enablement 1.0, you're lucky to crack double digits. You're lucky to get 11, 12%, and that's because, what I articulated before is that it's something that either I'm onboarding and I'm being coached,
Yeah.
or I'm building a deck back in my hotel room, and I'm maybe the server's down and I can't get the server to respond to build me that dynamic deck. That's okay. I'll use the one that's on my laptop. So it's not a huge immediate mission critical always on forcing function, but it is for Sales Enablement 2.0, because of the operational nature, because of being AI forward, because of being infused into every aspect of a seller's actual interactions with a customer.
Well, all right, let's take a look at a few of these ways in which AI is really powering our sales enablement platform, and we're going to start with agenda building and meeting prep. Just a critical task, but something that AI can make a very fast impact on.
So can you all see my screen?
Looks good.
Okay, so what this is demonstrating is this is what Pitcher calls a canvas. So this is a dynamically rendered website that is going to be built out for a pre-call meeting or pre-meeting with the customer. So AI in this case is going out and fetching the account name, the name of the person, what their account status is, and it's building a dynamically rendered digital sales room for that interaction to happen. So you see first name, last name coming in here. You see the as the canvas is being built. You'll see in a second. There we go. This is now, it's going up and fetching. I'm going to be building out a preparation for this meeting. I'm selecting a client for this meeting. Say I'm in this case, I'm a medical device hearing aid manufacturer. So it built the first cut agenda, but then I clicked on, I want the agenda to be a little bit more either verbose or shorter, or maybe a different language, and that is where the AI really kicks in. And you can have this agenda is being built out in the exact form, either duration. Well, let me pause there. Duration. It's got my attendees. It's got my introduction that I'm supposed to touching on these particular topics, and it's also dynamically built the based on previous actions and previous engagement and previous buying patterns. It's built out what I should be talking about. So there's nothing left to chance as far as, oh, did you remember to talk about this particular product? No, I forgot about that. Well, here it's right. The machine right here is augmenting you, Mr. Seller, to think and giving you the tools to be more successful. So now post meeting, it's building me a follow-up. So it's now you'll see that here's the topics we talked about. Here's all the different content objects that were pulled in from a content library. And the content library can be like a SharePoint or a OneDrive, or just a file share, a Google Drive. And it's the ability for it to dynamically infuse these content pieces into a post called follow-up that are now infused into the DSR. The DSR is the leave behind for that customer. Now they've got all the content, all the agenda points we talked about, and I don't have to lift a finger. All that is artificial intelligence enabling the seller to be better.
That's great.
So do I click? Yeah, I click stop sharing.
Yep.
Remove this media. There we go. Confirm. Sure.
There we go. And then let's see. So next is, auto-generating personalized content. This one really kind of is amazing to me.
So this demo embodies what is, it's actionable AI generating content and data. These data feeds. Now, is this another video I need to roll? Or
Yes.
okay,
Let's
hold on
see.
for a second. Let me share this video. Ba-ba-bum. Auto-generate personalized content,
You
right?
got it.
You got it. Okay, sorry about that. I guess I'm the dummy behind the machine here. So what this demo is showing is this is a very complex high net worth discussion that this wealth management firm is having with a high net worth individual. And so with all these different metrics about, and these are all dynamically rendered for and tailored and personalized for this individual interaction for this particular individual. The reason why is that these high net worth individuals are used to being catered to. They're used to having a personalized, intimate discussion with their wealth advisor. And so the machine helps the wealth advisor generate a very eye appealing, very dynamically driven. You see a lot of different data models coming in here with all their different employer contributions, their peer contributions, the top performers in the portfolio. All this is specific to this particular client, and you've got a lot of data feeds over here on the right with a lot of tables that are dynamically built and all rendered within Picture. When you can and you can see that the presentation, the overall user experience is very fluid. It's just good, eye appealing. So you see, we can have to do the different calculations of year-over-year growth, of your portfolio mixes. All of this data is coming from, can be coming from database sources, CSV sources, Reuters, Bloomberg. All those kind of data feeds can be pulled in for these dynamic financial complex financial presentations that infuse graphics, personalization, data. You see, this is actually interactive right here too. Go ahead, Bridget.
We often get the question around how complex is it for an organization to bring their data streams into the platform, and really, I mean, it's an integration that's it's essentially an API integration that really taps into the data streams and technology that you are already using.
Sure. So Picture comes out of the box with predefined integrations for standard systems like marketing automation, CRM, email management systems, natural language processing systems, and as well as third-party systems. You know, we can take in any sort of ODBC driver from a database in any sort of CSV file, any sort of upload from a third-party system, any sort of API or REST API is something that we can grab data from.
Yeah. Great.
Cool. So I'll close this one too. Confirm.
So next, we're going to take a look at AI-powered workflows and AR-powered selling. This is a video with sound. So if you have sound on, and obviously you do, you're listening to us, but we're going to shift gears here into a produced video that's going to talk through some workflows and AR-powered selling. This is
Meet Alex. He sells affordable snack products to large retail stores on the U.S. East Coast. He relies on Picture's selling suite to supply him with all the real-time information he needs to make the sale. Picture's intelligence agent,
Hi,
or PIA, is Picture's AI-powered assistant. Alex and PIA, they know in-store displays. Consumers tend to shop habitually and become blind to the usual shelf arrangements. Only novel displays can cut through the clutter. The right sales display in the right place at the right time can provide significant revenue increases for the store and for the brand. It is up to Alex and Picture to show the stores how. PIA predicts the outcomes of a certain display by comparing the outcomes of similar displays in similar stores at similar times. Leveraging the AI's ability to see patterns within immense amounts of data, PIA gives accurate forecasts based upon robust sales feedback. PIA pre-visualizes the display by allowing the store to see an augmented reality view of exactly how the display will appear within the store.
Oh, that's good. Can I see that from the other side?
Of course. Let's check it out.
Alex uses the camera in his tablet to show exactly how each display will look from all angles.
And see, Tap here.
Pia shows not only how the display will look, but how it will perform.
Dang.
Our AI has analyzed your store's specific customer profile, purchasing patterns, and even local events calendar.
For real?
Pia helps prepare Alex for its presentation by creating customized sell sheets for each promotion,
It's really impressive.
which incorporate store-specific data, regional consumer insights, and tailored messaging that resonates with this particular store's priorities and challenges.
Definitely. Let's move forward with this.
Great. I'll submit this order right now, and these displays will be delivered next Tuesday.
Great.
With the store manager's approval, Alex captures the order directly in the app. After implementation, the system continues to provide value by tracking actual performance.
Oh, excellent.
Using integration with point-of-sale data, Alex can see exactly how each display is performing, comparing actual versus projected metrics. At this Walmart, the displays are performing 6% above projections after the first week, allowing Alex to share the success with Sarah during his follow-up visit.
You are going to want to see this.
Pitcher transformed retail execution by connecting the entire selling process in one seamless solution that delivers ROI to the retailer.
This is amazing.
Dynamic, personalized sell sheets are generated in real time by AI. Augmented reality visualizes displays and shelf placement for in-stock products. The Pitcher platform is an AI-powered solution that will transform your retail selling effectiveness.
Thanks for watching.
Now everybody's met Pia, so glad you were able to meet her.
I love that video, and I think it embodies the machine augmenting the human to be better, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a question on how is this impacted by the Privacy Act? And so that's probably a very industry specific response, but do you want to just touch on that kind of on a general level, Kevin?
Sure. So you might be referring to GDPR as far as Privacy Act. So when it comes to any sort of third-party data, first-party name, serial, or personal information data is obviously kept in localized to the region and kept in transcripted in flight and at rest. So there's no concerns over any sort of privacy leakage.
Let's jump to the next one here. Automate follow-up and customer record keeping. So we're going to have Pia walk us through another little demo of how we do this, but do you want to give us a quick preview?
Sure. So this is one of my favorite things as far as the ability to follow up with a conversation that Pia, or an interaction that Pia will now demonstrate the next best action, the next best content deliver, the next best action from an engagement perspective, and how to move that opportunity forward. So here again, this is infusing best practices, because most CROs, they want to see the operation of an organization be as efficient as possible and emulating the behaviors of a top seller. So I can pattern match that behavior of a top seller and make sure that that's infused across my organization as a best practice.
Cool. All right. And I can cue the video up here.
You know, another division in our company is thinking about buying fidgets.
What kind of documentation can you give us to share with them? Pia, a little help?
I've already created a microsite for this meeting. It has a recording of our discussion, product brochures for the Fidget 4000s, explainer videos on how our fidgets are different from competitors, and images detailing each part of the Fidget 4000s.
That's cool! Wait, you mean you built all of this?
Already.
Sure did. Follow-ups are generated in seconds, so we can share them with you before we even leave the meeting.
Pia, make sure they have a good way to contact us in case they have any questions.
Done. Their team can ask questions directly in the chat feature of the microsite.
Oh my gosh, that's so easy!
Boy, you guys have thought of everything. How do you want me to share the follow-up? Email, text message, WhatsApp?
WhatsApp! You know, that's where I buy my Bitcoin.
Great. One follow-up headed your way on your favorite platform.
Wow, look at that!
PIA generates the meeting minutes in the form of a persistent microsite that can be used by the customer to share information internally or to order additional products. This microsite includes all of the meeting details, plus relevant brochures, product data sheets, and competitive comparisons. The rep creates a link, and PIA drafts a note to the customer in both email and a note in the social channel of the customer's choice. In this example, the rep chose WhatsApp to send a note and the microsite link. As the customer accesses the microsite, the rep has full visibility to whatever the customer views, when, and how often, including people with whom the customer has shared the deck.
Good work, Sarah.
Me? No, you. Thanks for saving the day in there.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah? Well, I'm stoked.
Glad to hear it. I'll keep you posted on how and when their team engages with the microsite, so you can know how to move the deal forward.
Dang. Pia, how did I ever get by without you?
Cool.
Yeah, it's great. Let me just go back here, pop this up. All right. So yeah, obviously, time saver, efficiency driver, but also just good best practice driver as well on the follow-up and record keeping and engagement tracking.
I think I've seen the look in that seller's eye when the buyer asks her those questions, and if she didn't have an assistant, an AI assistant to help her deliver the best answer, that deer in the headlights look that she was delivered was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple key takeaways here, that really an AI-powered sales enablement tool is a tool that your reps will want to use. Walk us through these couple points here.
Sure. So sellers make more money by using Pitcher and PIA. That is flat out. Period. End of story. That's what gets adoption. That's what drives 90% daily average usage of our applications. Less admin, more selling time. That's a part of our mantra of letting sellers sell. Shorter deal cycles. That's part of having that best practices of accelerating opportunities based on what has worked in the past. Follow-ups, next best interest, AI-powered workflows, and next best action and recommendations. That goes part and parcel with the AI and PIA's ability to put a wrapper around a lot of different a lot of different sales hocus pocus or black art. It puts it into science. And lastly, personalized coaching that turns every rep into a top performer. That's the number one objective of most CROs is to drive every rep to be as a model of that behavior, model of the definition of good after what a top performer delivers.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple questions we commonly get. One is that we'll hear that an organization's CRM is not optimized. Maybe they don't have a CRM. Are they excluded from working with an AI-powered sales enablement tool, or is there a path for them to still take advantage of a tool like this?
CRM products, oddly enough, the anchor tenant of MarTech is not necessarily needed, and that at over 20 years ago, CRMs were the anchor tenant of MarTech. It's not that way anymore. The anchor tenant of MarTech is the sales interaction, the interaction with the customer, and the ability to capture. There's three basic. The triangle of CRM is accounts, opportunities, and contacts. So if you can have that handle of, and that's all really you need is the ability to have opportunities, contacts, opportunities, contacts, and companies. Excuse me, yeah. and accounts. So that once you've got that structure in any form or fashion, doesn't need to be a formalized CRM. Then applying that next level. And to drive that true sales interaction, the human interaction, that's really what we're talking about.
Sure. Where is there a limitless future for the impact of AI on the selling process?
I think we're just starting to. What I liked about this discussion today was that when you take the word salad of agentic AI, natural language processing, machine learning, autonomous AI, generative AI, and boiling it down into what do humans want to do? They want to make more money. They want to sell better. They want to give back time. They want to get home and coach their kids' soccer team. That's what we're talking about, and that's what real sales enablement 2.0 AI delivers. And so is that the end game? No. Technology will continue to march on, and humans will continue to demand more. I mean, I don't know how I can live without Siri now. So and I didn't even know Siri existed 5 years ago, and now I can't live without it.
It's true.
So
How would we know how to get anywhere we are driving? We do have a question that just came in. What are the minimum user licenses, for a potentially small number of users? And does this easily integrate with MS Outlook?
yeah, of course. MS Outlook and any other standard email client, Google, Gmail, any sort of any SMTP type. Sorry to get too technical. Any SMTP type server email is Picture can integrate well into that. The number of user counts, really, many of our largest customers, and by the way, every large company I know started out as a small company. So my hat is off to you for being in a small company, and we're very fortunate to be enabling many small companies as well. So there really is no lower limit.
Yeah. Well, that wraps. Thank you. This was fun. I love this topic. I know it's near and dear to your heart as well. So thanks, Kevin. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We will be sending out a recording of today's conversation within the next day, and it'll be also on the webinars page on our website. So
cool. Thanks.
Thanks so much.